Hello everybody and welcome back to Mercury Minded Tarot. My name is Chelsea and I am so sorry there's been such a delay in my uploads. My personal life has been crazy lately, but I am back today and we are going to be doing a March predictions reading. So seeing what lies ahead for you all in this upcoming month. All of my Pisces and Aries babies, happy early birthday. This is our time to shine, you know what I mean? This is our moment. So if you are new here or if you've been here once or several times in the past, welcome. Feel free to like or subscribe if the messages resonate with you or if you dig the energy we have going on here. I'll have in the description box below all the links to the decks I used today, as well as my other social media platforms, so feel free to reach out, find me wherever. I'm happy to have you. With that being said, let's get into the cards. First things first, little PSA, if you are someone that likes utilizing crystals or visual aids to pick your group, go ahead and fast forward just a smidge. I'll have some laid out for you to help, okay? But for those of you that don't like having anything distracting on top of your cards, here we have Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4. So go ahead, take this moment, think about the question, what is in store for me in March? What is coming my way next month? Do whatever you need to do to help you pick, whether you need to pause the video or meditate or just go with whichever one catches your eye, whatever method works for you. Once you have your group selected, I will have all of the timestamps listed down below in the description box and also in the comment section. So you can just fast forward ahead to your selection and I will see you there. All right, so if you like utilizing a visual aid, I selected 4 green colored crystals for you to help you choose. We have Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4 for you here. So go ahead, do what you need to do to pick, pause, meditate, go with your gut, whatever works for you. Once you've made your selection, I will have all of the timestamps listed down below in the description box and in the comment section, so you are able to just skip ahead to your selection and I will see you there. All right, Group 1. Let's go ahead and start with our tarot cards, and then I'll also be pulling from my oracle decks to help us clarify any messages we get, okay? All right, our first card here is going to be the 10 of Swords. I don't want anyone to panic yet. I know this isn't a very positive looking card, but let's see what kind of context we're dealing with. We also have the Hierophant. Okay, so let's just start here first. The 10 of Swords and the Hierophant. For some of you, this can indicate some sort of break or separation from a commitment. If the Hierophant here is representing authority, institutions, and society, this is almost like some sort of break away from that in March. You know, it's almost as if you're trying to free yourself from the shoulds of society. You know, this could mean some of you may be dealing with these feelings like, I should be friends with this person. I should have this family member in my life. I should forgive them. But are those shoulds actually serving you? Or is it something that's been ingrained in you because of society? This is like almost like a shift in your beliefs or questioning those perceptions and those beliefs. It's like you've outgrown them almost. And it's like you're pushing past some of those limiting expectations that society can place on us. We're just gonna be heavy right off the bat, aren't we, Group 1? We're just gonna go straight for it, no holding back. Because the other thing that's happening here with the 10 of Swords, this is like being exhausted. This is just being done, being over it. And this can indicate some sort of like recovery from a past relationship or a past situation. Like you're trying to catch your breath and regroup after whatever has happened here in the past. I know these past couple of months have been really turbulent for a lot of us. So you here in Group 1 might be just trying to wrap your head around what happened. And I'm being told right now, Group 1, that it wasn't your fault. That for a lot of you, there was nothing that could have been done to prevent what happened, that could prevent this 10 of Swords. But it's really made you question yourself and question everything. It put a lot of doubt on you. So some of you are probably just exhausted and worn out from what has happened in these previous months. For some of you, it could be like literal, the interpretation of Ten of Swords here, a backstabbing or a betrayal. There could have been a falling out or some sort of separation. It could even be some sort of like spiritual awakening if we consider the Hierophant over here and its connection to religion and spirituality. But you guys are in your heads in March. Now let's go ahead and see what else. Okay. I also have the Four of Wands. I'm gonna throw Temperance just to the side here. So we have Four of Wands and Temperance now. What I see next for you here, Group 1, if we consider the Ten of Swords and the Four of Wands, this is like my my family and home life card. It's your environment. So this could be some sort of fighting with family, or fighting like with your roommates, fighting with those you live with. And honestly, you guys, I'm wondering with Temperance here too, this is going to get really specific, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this out. If these messages don't resonate with you at all, go ahead, feel free to pick another group, but also keep in mind that not every message will be meant for you and not everything may resonate 100%. That's totally fine, a-okay. Go ahead and take what does connect with you and leave the rest for someone else. With that being said, are some of you dealing with like a family divorce or some sort of like family conflict where we have two people here fighting and they may not be aware of the consequences that it's having on everyone else? I say divorce because the Hierophant, like I said, institutions, marriage is an institution. This could be some sort of breakup, some sort of dissolution of that marriage or that commitment. This could be you going through this, or for some of you, I don't know if someone in your family or loved ones are really going through it, your close friends, whoever it is, there could be two people that are really fighting and that is having an influence on you and the others that are around them. Okay, that was really specific. That's just what, from all four of these cards together, that's what it reads as to me. Well, let's break it down even further. With the Ten of Swords and the Four of Wands, for some of you, if it's not like an external conflict, you're not fighting with somebody or no one is fighting around you, I'd like to point out the imagery here on the Four of Wands that this is the same person. It's just two sides of the same person. So this could be more of an internal conflict. Maybe some of you are addressing shadow work in March, or you're going to be confronting your shadow side, confronting those shadow traits in order to bring balance and reconciliation to the self. And for those of you where this is a conflict or an issue you've dealt with in these previous months leading up to March, if it was a breakup, if it was even like a job loss, these two together tell me that you're trying to move on from this situation. You're trying to move on from the past. In March, I see you trying to adopt this attitude of, okay, it's out with the old, in with the new, we're moving on. We're going to recover and grow from this. And that's confirmed for me with Temperance here. Temperance in the mix is saying basically that you can't change the past. You can only be focused on making better choices for yourself going forward, allowing yourself to feel this pain, feel this hurt, this disappointment, but then you need to pick yourself back up, figure out how you can turn it around, and don't allow yourself to get stuck or wallow here. A setback or a disappointment is not permanent, and it doesn't define you, Group 1. Now, on the happier side of things, if we look at, the Hierophant and the Four of Wands together here, for some of you, you could be attending a wedding in March. Is it your wedding or someone else's? That's up to you in your personal story, your personal life. But again, environment, celebrations, and institutions, this would be like the officiant at a wedding. And the other thing here, if we consider this is commitment and this is environment, some of you may be moving in March or trying to. You may be considering taking that next step. For those of you that are in a relationship, taking that next big step. If you're not getting married, it could be as simple as moving in together, having that kind of long-term commitment and taking that step to move forward together. Yeah, because this is environment, this is home. So you may be moving in with someone. That could be your big commitment here in March, Group 1. And that's confirmed for me. Again, if I consider Temperance in the mix, a lot of you are appreciating the good you have in your life. If you are trying to recover from this Ten of Swords, you're trying to put the positive spin on events in this month, trying to grow from those experiences, And so even if you're not moving in with somebody else, you may still be trying to move or even like buy a house, buy a property. There's a change in environment happening in March for you, Group 1. The circumstances vary, of course, depending on what you have going on in your life. This is a very large general reading, but there is going to be a change in environment. Now, I saved these two for last because we have two major arcana here. We have the Hierophant and the Temperance. Now, if I look at these together, let me get everything back in place, they together read as acceptance. And in March, you're going to be, learning to trust the flow of life, trust the path that the universe has set you on, trust that whatever has happened here with this Ten of Swords, it happened for a reason. And Temperance is saying, go with the flow. On a more mundane, everyday side of things, this can also mean trying to strike a work-life balance. If some of you are just exhausted from working too hard, you've been putting in so much effort at work, this could literally mean just run down, tired, and exhausted. Temperance in the Hierophant here is saying you need to find a better balance between your personal life and your work life, because you can't keep this up forever. You can't keep giving and giving and giving and putting in this effort. You're going to run yourself ragged, run yourself dry. With that being said, it's also possible, I don't typically like speaking about health matters, but some of you might literally be feeling run down because you're sick in March. You might visit the doctor, visit the clinic, because here with Temperance we see healing. So all right, a lot going on for you just with these tarot cards here, Group 4. Some good, some bad, but mostly we're moving forward, we're recovering, we're getting back on our feet from these previous months that have just kicked our ass, okay? So let's take a look at the oracle cards I have now. The first one I have is the first quarter moon. It says your commitment is being tested. I feel like this is referring to your commitment to yourself, your commitment to your goals and your future aspirations, not allowing these setbacks and these challenges to knock you off course. Yes, you've been knocked down, but you can get back up. If you've been feeling tired, been feeling run down, you will get your energy back. And my next card interesting. We have the new moon in Pisces. It says meditate and contemplate. Pisces season, that's what we're in right now. We'll be in it for most of March. Pisces energy, typically, stereotypically, a bunch of sleepy bitches, a bunch of sleepy fishes. All right, so again, Ten of Swords in this Pisces energy. Some of you are just tired. You are just exhausted. Conserve your energy in March. For those of you that have been go, 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 like I said, working so hard, whether that's at your job, in your personal life, with your relationships, you need to give yourself a break. Some of you have been so hard on yourselves. Again, like I mentioned in the beginning with those expectations, those shoulds. I should be doing this. I should have achieved this. I should forgive them. Who are those shoulds serving? This card tells me, Group 1, that this is a month of healing for you. Literally, like I said, it's for those that are actually physically sick, and even if you're just emotionally drained and exhausted, allow yourself a break. Allow yourself to rest. Take care of yourself. The other message here with this card is to not allow these fears, these uncertainties to hold you back. Like I've said, they're not going to define you. You are going to get back on track. Sorry, I just realized how crooked we were. We're readjusted. Sorry about that. If you're like, got a crook in your neck now, we're leaning to the side. Hopefully this is better now. Let's look at my other cards, shall we? I'm not even gonna have to explain the relevance of this one. We have balance. Literally with Temperance, there's that same message. We have a lot of duality actually happening in these cards, Group 1. Temperance, balance, Pisces, the Four of Wands. There's a lot of twos. And as I mentioned in the very beginning, that may be referring to partnerships or an internal duality, battling with that shadow side, confronting another part of yourself. What else have we got for you in March, Group 1? Because I don't think I need to say anything about balance. I think that is pretty straightforward considering everything I've said thus far. My next card says, you are not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. With this card, the underlying message here is that You shouldn't be wasting time or energy trying to prove your worth or value to someone. So if this has all been talking about a conflict or a problem with someone else, you shouldn't have to alter your path for them. You shouldn't be having to constantly prove yourself or justify your actions. This is basically saying it's okay if you don't get along with everybody. It's okay if not everyone likes you. That's going to happen. That's bound to happen in life. You're not for everyone. This is also such a Pisces, Aquarius, even Sagittarius type of card for me. You know, embrace your weirdness. We also have Pisces here, Sagittarius with Temperance. I feel like those signs can typically be seen as weird or as off, and this is just saying it's you. Embrace yourself. The more authentic you are, the more honest you are. There's bound to be people who don't understand or don't agree, but that's okay. You're on your own path. Let those people be on theirs. I also have the 11th house here. This is going back to the very, very beginning, because the 11th house, as much as it is about friendships and associations, the people in your network and your social circle, like I said, there could be fighting within those groups that's kind of affecting everybody, but I also want to pay attention to how this card represents the future. It represents, you know, your aspirations, your goals, your dreams, and how March is kind of like redirecting your focus on those. Redirecting your focus to get back on track to achieve these. You know, some of you may have put your aspirations or your personal goals to the side, whether it was for a job that you've been working hard on, for a person or a relationship. You may have put those personal aspirations on hold, and March is about getting back into the swing of things and recommitting yourself to these wishes and to your own personal freedom to do what you want. Like I said, embracing your own path. My last card, I'm just going to throw on top, it says act as if your partner is here. This card tells me that for some of you here in group 1, March is going to be a month of powerful manifestation and law of attraction for you. Basically, the universe will help you actualize and attract the things into your life that are in alignment with your own personal beliefs. So this is saying if, for example, you want a relationship, act as if that partner is already a part of your life. Think about how it would feel to have this ideal person in your life. And if you feel deserving and ready and excited for that, that kind of like opens your heart to attracting that person and those feelings in. But that, of course, is an example. If you're already in a relationship with someone, this could be a job you want to manifest, a move you want to manifest, or again, just progress on those personal goals and aspirations. But the power of thought is very prominent here. The power of your beliefs is emphasized here. It's kind of like attitude is everything in the month of March for you. So that is what I am seeing here in March for you, group 1. We are recovering from the shit we've been through. We are moving forward. We are taking care of ourselves. We are healing, and we are focusing on our goals and dreams. I appreciate you guys hanging out on my channel with me and checking out this video. It is a pleasure, as always, to read for you, and I will catch you next time. All right, group 2. I'm going to go ahead and pull out some tarot cards first, and then we'll go over the oracle to help us clarify. So the first card I have here is the Hanged Man. And that just right away tells me, group 2, that this may be frustrating for some of you to hear, but things may feel paused or kind of like on hold during March for you. If some of you have been trying to get ahead, you're chomping at the bit to keep pushing forward, March is going to hit you with that red light. March is going to say, not yet, we need to wait a bit. And that gets confirmed for me because we have the Three of Wands as well. The key words here are going to be patience. This is a waiting game in March. It's like you're being given this time to review and shift your perspective if you need to. Some of you could be feeling a bit withdrawn or distant, but ultimately things are going to work out, but it's going to take you longer than you expected. And that could be, referring to a job, that could be referring to your personal life and relationships. Even if you've been thinking about hobbies or skills, why am I not picking this up faster? Why is nothing growing? Where is my momentum? Like they're just feeling like they're at a standstill. And that's quite honestly because they are right now. March is just pumping the brakes, all right? It's a time to slow down for you here. And for some of you, the message is just, it's not the right time right now. Trust the timing. Now is not the month to move, to switch jobs. You just need to take a moment and wait, is what both of these are saying. So let's keep going. Oh my gosh. All right, well, we have the Hanged Man again. So having the same major arcana card twice in a reading, you guys, patience and waiting are the name of the game. Let's just focus on the Three of Wands. So if we know what the Hangman means. With the Three of Wands though, for a lot of you, I feel like this is mostly talking about your work or education. It could be referring to a personal relationship, but it's basically saying you've been putting in the hard work, but you haven't gotten the rewards yet. You haven't seen the results. Like I said, this is a waiting card. So what you've been expecting is slowly on its way, but with slowly being the key word here. For some of you, it's like you've been so tunnel visioned on this, so focused, that it's like a time for you to step back. He is up here looking at this bigger picture. And with the Hanged Men, they're pointing out that you may need to change that focus, shift your attention elsewhere. Let's see what else I have. All right. So here we have Death. No one panic. Death is not inherently a bad card. I actually like Death, but this card here, especially combined with the Hanged Men we have, for some of you, this month may be a time of clarity, almost like your eyes are being opened. You may be starting to see a person or a situation for who they really are, for what it really is. And for others, you may have left a job or left a person. You've been trying to leave someone behind, and March is going to show you why that has ended. You're going to realize why that job, why that person, why that situation didn't work out. If we consider the Three of Wands here, there's something better on the horizon, and that's exactly why you couldn't bring whatever the situation from the past is with you. March is all about closing a chapter. With Death, this situation has ended. There's no going back. Like I said, we're closing that chapter. We're waiting for the next to reopen. But it asks you the questions, what needs to change? What can you let go of? What can you sacrifice, or what needs to be sacrificed in order to move forward after this waiting period? This is a very introspective type of month for you, Group 2. Now, I do want to say, if we get specific and talk about love and relationships, Death and the Three of Wands to me can mean that for some of you, you've been in like a weird type of period with another person, like a weird, iffy or back and forth type of situation where you don't quite know where you stand. These cards are saying that that period is going to come to an end in March with a better situation presenting itself to take its place. Now, that can mean a lot of different things. That better situation can mean that you reconcile and your relationship becomes better. You work through the issues. You've left behind the conflict and the problems that you had. But for others, it can literally mean just a new, better person is approaching that won't leave you second guessing yourself, that won't have you questioning where you stand with them. If we talk, astrological signs, Three of Wands is fire, but we also have a lot of water here. We have 2 Pisces cards, and then Death is Scorpio. So you may have these signs or elements in your chart, or the people surrounding you or coming into your life may have those signs. With these tarot cards addressed, let's go ahead and look at what oracle cards I have for you guys. I'm just gonna, you guys in your duplications, I have 2 Capricorn cards. I have the Capricorn full moon and new moon. So there's another zodiac sign for you guys to consider in March. With these cards, let's look at the actual message on them. This one says the end of a tough cycle approaches, and this one says that your hard work is paying off. What was I talking about earlier, you guys? You have been putting in so much effort, but you haven't been seeing the rewards. It's going to be paying off. This tough cycle is ending. It's like I'm psychic or something. Basically, with these 2 together, it's saying you can expect improvements in work and education especially. Capricorn is very ambitious as a sign, as an archetype. It is focused on status, career. So you can expect positive changes, particularly in those areas. These are basically reassuring cards that are trying to tell you your hard work is being recognized. The effort you've been putting in has been seen, but it's going to take more time to fully see the rewards and the results of that hard work, of those efforts. Gosh, I'm sure that's so frustrating for you guys here in group 2, you know, like you just want to see it already. Take this as a message that you are doing the right thing, you are on the right path. I'm sure some of you may be doubting or questioning yourselves at this point, like, why am I not seeing results? What am I doing wrong? Why aren't these things happening faster for me? Why am I not getting the promotion? Why am I not getting the recognition? Why does my relationship feel halted? March, like I said, is just a big pause button for you. I feel like you've been putting so much energy out externally that this month is a time for you to focus that energy inwards. Like I said, introspection, change in perspective, maybe look at the bigger picture. Why is it so frustrating to you? Let's continue. Okay, I have resistance here. This is the block. This is saying that although you may be trying to progress and move forward, it's stopped right now. Literally, it's asking you to wait and to not try to force anything right now. Like I said, you've been putting so much energy out externally, out into the world. You need to reel that in, focus it back on yourself. Let me see this. I have the big picture thinking card next, you guys. I can't even make this up. This says, you know, inspired ideas, visionary. Plus, it's a really pretty card. What have you been so focused on or so tunnel visioned on that's caused you to miss something else? You've missed something. Some of you may be more detail-oriented people, but it's time to look up, become re-inspired by life again. Especially some of you are creatives. Some of you may, be artistic, whether that's through writing or literally like painting or art or even music. And you may have been so focused on one particular project and you're wondering why it's not getting more recognition, or you wonder why you're feeling stumped. It's almost like this card is saying, yes, that is a good idea, but there are others that need explored. Now, I want to throw out my disclaimer here really quick that this is a very large general reading, so of course not everything may resonate with you 100%. That is totally a-okay and normal. Please feel free, go back and choose a different group. See if you find more applicable messages in those, but it's important to just take what does resonate and then leave the rest for somebody else. Because I know I got a little specific there. I just wanted to throw that out. Yeah, you need to work on yourselves. I have the first house, the house of self, your actions, who you are, doing it on your own. If you are feeling more withdrawn, if you are feeling more reserved, that's okay. That kind of comes with the territory, with the Pisces energy that we're dealing with right now. But for you guys, especially here in group 2, it's important to turn all of this energy, I keep repeating it, turn it back to the self. Some of you have been giving too much to relationships, giving a whole lot to your career or education, that this is a good time to just refresh, re-energize yourself, and just embrace this suspension that the Hanged Men are putting you in for the month of March. My last card, says have patience. All of these go so well together. Group 2, especially with the 2 Capricorns, it's a cardinal energy. That is a very ambitious, initiating, go, 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 driven type of energy. You may hate being told to wait, hate being told to have patience. You know what you want and you want to go get it right now. I'm telling you, in March, you're going to be met with that resistance. And you're wondering why? Because something else is coming in. And with the 3 of Wands, it talks about how this person is basically waiting for the ships to come home, right? He's out here watching the horizon, watching the sea, waiting for those rewards, waiting for the ships out at sea to come home. Something is headed your way that you're not aware of yet. This could be a person, it could be a job opportunity. In March, you're being told to have patience because what is coming for you One is better, right? Because we have the positive changes indicated by the Capricorn moons here. And you'll understand what all of this waiting was for. I know it's frustrating right now. You're probably already experiencing some of these pauses, some of these blocks, and it's just to make sure you're prepared for what is coming. So that is what I'm seeing here for you, group 2. Focus on yourselves, build up yourself, do what you need to do to make sure you're prepared for whatever the universe is sending your way, because it is sending something big, I can tell you that. The fact that we have 3 major arcana here, 2 of them are the same card, there is something big headed your way that you are being made to wait and prepare for. This is like a staging period for you guys right now. And I know that can be frustrating, but hang in there. The best is yet to come. So thank you for checking out this video. I appreciate you guys spending time with me here on my channel and allowing me to read for you. It is always a pleasure, and I will catch you next time. All right, group 3. I'm gonna go ahead and start with our tarot, and then we will get into the oracle cards as well to clarify anything that we receive. My first card is gonna be Judgment, you guys. So this can be indicating that March may have a particularly spiritual focus for you. And that may be true because you're looking at tarot readings on YouTube or tarot readings elsewhere on the internet. But your spirituality, and this makes so much sense being Pisces season right now, your spirituality may take kind of a front and center stage type of focus in March. There's also a message here, if we look at the imagery, I don't know if you can even see that, but this card carries the message that for some of you here in March, you're learning to live with the consequences and what has happened in the past, what has led up to this point. There's a very healing type of energy from this card, like a recovery and rising above the situations and the events that have happened to you. It almost reads like for some of you, just being the bigger person, accepting what has happened, learning and growing from it. It's literally some of the imagery in this card is like ascension. So for those of you that have been trying to develop psychic or spiritual gifts, or if you have those gifts, you may really feel connected to them in March. You may feel like it's that much easier to listen and understand your intuition, what it's telling you. You may feel more connected to the collective energy, to the universe, to spirit, whatever it is you specifically believe in. You're just feeling more in tune with that more feminine, receptive type of energy. Let's take a look. Okay, and here I have the 7 of Cups. Some of you may be taking those gifts to the internet. So are some of you maybe thinking about starting a spirituality channel out here on YouTube? You may be thinking of starting a spirituality page on other social media platforms, but this can indicate internet to me and taking those gifts to the internet. It's like you feel so in tune, you feel so connected, you want to share that with others in March. The other thing I'd like to point out with these 2 cards together is that it goes along. It's basically saying that you're refinding your path almost. If you felt lost, if you felt disconnected, if you've been wondering, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing right now? These 2 cards show that you're being put back in alignment with that path. Now, speaking of relationships and love, it's fitting because we are in a retrograde period right now, but I believe that ends on the 9th. But what can happen with these 2 cards, especially being here, is it's almost like an old or past relationship, whether that's romantic, platonic, familial, whatever it is. There may be a revival of that or a return to that, because judgment is seeing that being brought up. There's still lessons to learn from each other, but it raises the question, is it really worth salvaging? With the 7 of Cups, we have this association with illusion, with fantasy, and it's like, don't get caught up in that. You may not see them clearly right off the bat. And yes, there is good and bad in that connection, but I'm wondering if the bad is gonna change. Does that make sense? I feel like because we have Judgment in the 7 of Cups, first of all, for a lot of you, you don't know what's in these cups. You don't know what you're gonna get. And with Judgment, it could be like those behaviors are gonna keep repeating. So what lessons are you supposed to have learned from this relationship, from this connection? Again, whichever type of relationship it may be, it keeps getting brought back because there is something you haven't quite learned or grasped from them yet. So if you want to rekindle this, if you want to welcome this person back, that is your prerogative, that is your decision. I will never tell you what to do. Just try to keep realistic expectations, because the Seven of Cups is all about fantasies and daydreams. With this relationship, as of right now, who knows what other cards I get, but it doesn't have an earthy, grounded component to it. This is all up in the clouds. It is all up in the air, all of this air and cloud. There is nothing tying this relationship or this connection to the earth, to ground. So it may not be practical, expectations may not be realistic, and for some of you, you or this other person may have already built it up in their head or in your head as something that it's not in reality. And I think it kind of goes without saying in this day and age, but it'll probably come through text or DM. Group 3, someone might be sliding in your DMs. Any exes or old friends that you don't have blocked, maybe trying to come back. Just a heads up. Let me see what else. All right. Well, this is Judgment. Again, so we have 2 Judgment cards. That emphasis on spirituality, emphasis on lessons needing to be learned and consequences needing to be dealt with and accepted. I will say with the Seven of Cups here, there is another message of balance that comes through. It could be balancing your dreams with reality. Basically, all of these cards want you to come back down to earth a bit. March is going to have you up in the clouds, up in the sky, up in your head and your thoughts, in your imagination, in your daydreams. We are in Pisces energy right now, and we will be until towards the end of March. So fantasy, dreams, those will all be so much easier to get wrapped up in, and it's important to just recenter and reground yourself in March, Group 3. They can be fun to indulge in for a time, but don't lose yourself in them, I guess is the message here. And to confirm that for me, here's our earthiness. Here we have the Two of Pentacles. 2 is all about the balance, the give and take. This is your reminder to come back down to earth at some point, okay?
Hi, Editing Chelsea here. I just wanted to throw that in there that for some of you, what this Two of Pentacles can represent is that with this person that may be coming back into your life, there may have been or there may be issues going forward with like one of you not being on the same page as the other, or one of you doing more than the other. It just, the relationship may have aspects to it that seem to be a bit off balance. And so if you are looking to reconcile with this person or have them back in your life, it's going to be very important to make sure you're on the same page, you're both giving the same amount of energy to one another, and that the energy exchange between you is equal.
Now, another way to look at these cards, because I do want to throw out, that this is a very large general reading, so not everything may resonate or apply to you specifically, but that is a-okay. It's totally normal and to be expected. It's just important to take what does resonate and then leave the rest for someone else. Now, if nothing resonates, feel free to choose a different group, but just remember I'm trying to speak to a very large group of people here. So with that being said, the Seven of Cups also represents having multiple choices or having a lot of different options. You have a decision you need to make, and it can be almost overwhelming, the choices you have. And with the Two of Pentacles, those choices can be related to work, to your career, to your education. Maybe you're wondering, is this the major I'm meant to have? Is this the job I should be sticking with right now? March could really see you going back and forth in your head, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? Hell, it could even be, is this the right person for me? Did I make the right choice letting them back in? There's just a lot going on upstairs in your minds this month. And it might even behoove you to think about maybe writing a pros and cons list to really sort out all of these decisions or multiple options that you may be presented with. Because it's important to remember, again, we can't see what's in these cups. And in other decks, it showcases that more clearly, but some of these decisions are not going to have what's best for you within it. So take your time. I don't sense a rush right now. There's no need for haste or, stressing yourself out over these decisions. Just do what you need to do. Sort it out. Again, pros and cons list, whatever method works for you. Just try to take a more practical and grounded approach to making these choices. So with my oracle cards, I have Purity. Purity is asking you to take a look at your motivations, Take a look at what's driving you. Is that serving you well? Are your motivations currently in your best interest? Do you want to let this person back into your life because you're lonely, or because you finally appreciate and understand one another better? It's asking you the big questions this month. With this card, we also have the message of trying to be more clear and concise in your communication, and again, in your decision making. Mercury is in Pisces right now. It can feel like your head is in a fog. Things aren't clear. Things are a bit muddy or hazy. I sometimes compare it to trying to talk while underwater. Just try to bring your head out from the clouds, back to being grounded, and don't allow your imagination or fantasies to overcomplicate things. For some of you, there may be like an issue or a conflict in your life that you've built up in your head. It's not nearly as severe or as damaging or as important or as huge as it feels to you. It's like you may be seeing things that aren't there. Purity wants you to just clear that up, make things simple again. Now with this card, the new moon eclipse, expect powerful change. For some of you, this means that it may be best to let the past lie, because with powerful change, there are new opportunities that await you. And for some of you, this is like a turning point, especially because we have these powerful, powerful spiritual cards with judgment. You might be approaching a turning point, and it's time to take that leap. If you've been headed in one direction, whether that is with your career, with your education, with a relationship, this new moon energy here can come in and kind of force you to change direction. Expect to be redirected towards what you're meant for. Sometimes that change can be uncomfortable, especially if you are familiar, at home, at ease, comfortable with the path you're currently on. It can be like frightening almost to have to change course, but the message it carries is that it's one, for the best, and two, part of your path here. You're being realigned, group 3. And I know a lot of you hate this word. It is overused, I do agree, but I have to throw it out there because it does apply to some of you in this group. For some of you, it is a karmic period. We have the 2 judgment cards, this powerful change. This is a karmic period. You may be dealing with a karmic relationship. You may be dealing with karma from past lives or past situations that are coming forward, and you are having to reconcile and deal with those now. But that's not something to be scared of. It's something we grow from, and it helps us learn more about ourselves. Let's keep going. Here I have the Aquarius full moon. It says, show the world the real you. With this card, it is also all about change and unexpected change, because we're looking at Aquarius. Its modern ruler is Uranus, so that kind of throws a curveball in your life. There's something you weren't anticipating. This may be a person you weren't anticipating coming back, a job opportunity you weren't expecting, even like a creative or artistic opportunity. You are going to be redirected and presented with something that is going to come out of nowhere. It is going to catch you off guard, catch you by surprise. And that change can be frightening, but again, it's not bad. It may just throw you off a little bit, but in the end, it's all to point you in the right direction. Here I have the Messenger card talking about bringing harmony and balance. Balance, balance, balance. That has actually been a theme in a lot of my groups this month. Whether we're all exhausted, worn out from these past couple of months, kind of the shit show that has been life lately for a lot of us. If that hasn't been you, must be nice. But for those of us that have just been kicked and beaten down, March feels like a time for us to regroup, refocus, and reprioritize. But the other thing I want to point out with the card Messenger, again, it's so silly, but that just tells me once more that this message, this opportunity, this person, it's going to text or DM. I mean, it can also mean email, but some sort of electronic communication, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So check your spam folders, all right? Make sure you don't miss this. Here we have, you guys, I can't even... What's that word right there? That word is balance. Again, we're dealing with the 7th house. This is the house of relationships and partnerships. It's like one-on-one situations. So this does tell me that relationships may be a focus for you, especially if it's this person coming back, deciding whether you want to reconcile or just, unpack what has happened, what you can learn and take from it. But the key word on there again, right at the top here, is balance. Make sure you're not giving more to this person than they're giving to you. Make sure you're not the only one committing yourself to this. Make sure you're not the only one putting in all of this effort and time and attention. March is about finding and applying balance in your relationships and just in yourself, in your time management, in your work, in your education, whatever it may be. A balance needs to be struck, because we know in Pisces season, we're dealing with a bunch of sleepiness. A lot of us are going to be wanting to take a nap, feeling like low energy. So in times like that, balance is crucial so we don't wear ourselves out. Pisces season can be really exhausting for a lot of people. For some of us, you may be feeling more energized. I personally feel like I come alive in Pisces season, but with that being said, make sure you're exerting that energy wisely and kind of like evenly distributing that energy, so to speak. My last card says, you are limitless. You can do anything you choose. And that's what I said, I feel, in the very beginning. It's your prerogative what you decide to do. I'm just here to give advice and hopefully some clarity and insight, but you can do anything you choose. You can make any choice you want. But I do want to tell you, for those of you here in group 3, this card is saying that things are going to work out as they should. If you are overwhelmed, uncertain, feeling confused or misdirected, expect to get that shift back on your path, back on track. Things are going to work out as they should. That is what I'm seeing here for you in group 3. I can't wait for you guys to see what this change or what this unexpected occurrence is. Let me know if it's already happened, or reach out to me on my other social medias to let me know when and if it does. I'd love to hear about it. That is all I have for you guys here. I appreciate you checking out this video and hanging out with me on my channel. As always, I love reading for you guys, and I will catch you next time. Group 4, you lovely bunch, how are you? I'm gonna go ahead and get out my tarot cards, and then I'll also be pulling some oracle for further clarification if we need it. We will. Let's start. Okay, we have the 5 of Cups. I know that imagery doesn't look promising, but don't panic. I'm gonna get one more to help us understand. Okay, so we have the 5 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles to start. So let's start. With the 5 of Cups, in March, you could be dealing with, recovering from, trying to understand, or just deal with either a breakup, a separation, a falling out, some sort of loss or disappointment. We see in the imagery, he's very upset. He has all of these spilled cups in front of him. But the important message with this card is that all is not lost. Let's see if I can get this up here. He has 2 cups behind him that he hasn't seen. There is a bridge to a whole ass castle in the background. It's kind of like a matter of looking at the glass half full instead of half empty. It's like, even though right now you may be dealing with this loss, dealing with this grief, with this separation, whether it was with a romantic partner, a family member, a friend, whatever the situation may be for you, allow yourself to hurt, but don't forget that you still have opportunities, connections, and more positivity in the background here. You just have to turn around and see it. It's kind of like this card is saying that ultimately you're going to be better off. You have more opportunities in the future. Now, I do want to point out, because we are currently in a Mercury retrograde, and we will be until March 9th, I believe. It is very possible that for some of you, if this breakup or separation has already happened in the past, you may have this person trying to reach out or reappear during March. It's going to be up to you, if you want to try to patch things up or clear the air around the situation, just maybe even understand what happened. You don't have to get back with them necessarily if you don't want to, but again, that'll be up to you. That's your prerogative. I just want to let you know that yes, you can take them back or try to reconcile if you want to, but I want you to look at the 9 of Pentacles here, because this is showing how strong and capable you are on your own. The 9 of Pentacles is my single, flirty, and thriving card. Obviously, this can apply to any gender, but this is my single lady, okay? She don't need no man. She don't need no partner. She is perfectly content, happy, and successful on her own. And that is kind of the message, the vibe here with these two cards. Yes, the breakup sucked, but look at how far you can go. If you're not here yet, this is what March is showing you. This is what March is presenting to you. You may be given an opportunity, a new job opportunity, a chance to move, a chance to establish yourself, create a foundation for yourself to be independent, successful, and abundant on your own. This is like establishing your independence. Ultimately, you guys, here in group 4, I don't want you to dwell on the loss, on the regrets, on the disappointment. Realize all of the good you still have going on in the background and all the good that you can have in the future. Whew. We're starting off heavy, group 4. Let's keep going. So my next card is the King of Wands. Now there's a couple ways to interpret this. This could be some of you, or this could be the person that's trying to come back, a very masculine energy, a fire sign, or at least, has a very prominent fire element in their chart. And the other card I have, is the Emperor. So definitely there is a very strong masculine energy coming forth in March. And this could be the energy that is coming towards you. If we're dealing with the effects of the retrograde and have someone trying to come back, this would be a very masculine energy that's trying to come back. But I also think that some of you could be trying to embody this masculine energy, charging forth to create this 9 of Pentacles for yourself. Because what I see with the 5 of Cups, the King, and the Emperor all together here, it's something like some of you may be becoming, or at least trying to become, financially independent, either from your parents or from a father figure. You may be moving away from your parents, moving away from home, and trying to separate yourself, not in the sense of like painful separation, but in the sense that you want to be independent. So for some of you, if this isn't an old love interest coming back, this could just literally be like, okay, I want to be self-sufficient. I want to be independent. I want to be able to take care of myself. I don't want to have to rely on anyone else for this. I can do it on my own. What else do I see? So the other thing to consider here with the Emperor and the King of Wands, some of you may be considering self-employment, especially in like a creative field or a field that you feel passionate about. Again, there's that financial independence, pursuing your passions in your career and in your hobbies, wanting to be self-sufficient. Maybe you've been thinking about starting your own business or coming up with other ways to support yourself, and March is going to give you that extra creative little oomph to get out there and start taking those steps. March is showing you that yes, it is possible, group 4. You can be self-sufficient. If you have the means and you have the opportunity, it may be worth looking into self-employment. So what else do we have here? My oracle card right here says boundaries, and I think that is particularly important if we are dealing with some past relationship trying to come forward again. This card asks you to think about what is healthy for you. Group 4, I want you to protect yourself, and I don't want you to allow anyone to walk over you. Embody this strong, powerful, masculine type of energy with the Emperor and the King of Wands, being in charge of your own life, setting those boundaries, not allowing yourself to be taken for granted or hurt again. Really, maybe even create a list. Think about the boundaries you'd want to establish and really try to hold yourself to those in March. Because the other thing I want to point out here, with the Emperor, there is a stubbornness and like a rigidity to this energy. So this person, if it is an Emperor type of person that's trying to come back to your life in March, they likely haven't changed. If there were issues or conflict in your relationship with this person, they likely haven't changed or made any attempts to resolve that. If they were particularly stubborn or overly controlling, the more negative manifestations of the Emperor, this card is very set in its ways. It doesn't budge. It doesn't move. So it's important to consider. You may think that they're coming back because they've changed, but unfortunately here, group 4, I think it is important to keep these boundaries up to protect yourself, because I don't know if they have. I would be surprised if the Emperor decided to change their ways or work on themselves during this time and distance you've had apart. I really love this kind of like, pardon my French, this boss bitch energy for you. I'm feeling it. Okay. My next card here is Whale and Orca Elders. It says frequency of sound, diving deep. Yeah, there's something below the surface. So this card is basically asking you to look beyond the surface, look deeper, right? Diving deep. Dive deep when considering your boundaries. Dive deep when considering how you want to support yourself and be a self-sufficient, independent individual. And the other thing I would consider with this card, if we go back to talking about another person returning, I feel like there is something beneath the surface with them as well. Like, why now would be the question I would want to ask. Yes, okay, it's Mercury retrograde, but why specifically is this person returning? Is it because they miss you or because they want something? That's just a question to ponder. I'm not, coming to attack anybody. Now, the other thing with this card, it basically encourages you to embrace your calling. Embrace what you feel passionate about in regards to your life path, your career, your hobbies. March wants you to further explore those. What can you do with those? Can you make a job out of those passions? Can you make a sustainable living out of those? What steps do you need to take to get there to make it a reality? It also asks you, for some of you, to expel this anger and this hurt in order to make more room for love. That was something I just heard right now. Is that for those of you that still have maybe any lingering sadness, any lingering hurt, this card wants you to acknowledge those emotions and then work on releasing them so that you can embrace and accept love into your life in whatever form that may come in. My next card, here I have the third house. This is the house of our ideas, how we communicate. So in this regard, it's like pursuing the idea perhaps of self-employment. All right, we're getting that confirmation. Maybe literally jotting down ideas, making plans, putting the thoughts you've had into your head, like putting the thoughts you've had in your head into concrete action, into physical, words, putting those thoughts on paper in order to take the steps towards achieving those. Because this is also a house of communication, it almost reaffirms for me that someone is going to be reaching out. We even see the telephone on the center of this card. So they may be calling you, texting you. Even if it's not this person, this past relationship, it may just be your friends or family in general. Maybe you want to be more social this month. Get out and communicate with people again. If you've been feeling cooped up or holed up or stuck to yourself, March may be giving you the gentle push to, get yourself back out there. My next card for you, group 4, is going to be the Scorpio full moon. You guys, it says it's time to release the negativity. Let go of any toxic connections. No more dwelling on the past, on what went wrong. March wants you to turn that focus to the future, on the changes you can make, on the future that you can create for yourself. If things haven't worked out on the past, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a trend. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to continue to be that way going forward. You can release the negativity, the toxicity. You can leave that behind and open yourself back up. I know Scorpio has the shell and the stinger. It's very self-protective. It's okay, we do want to set boundaries, but don't allow paranoia or suspicions to cloud your judgment if you meet new people or if you want to pursue a different path. Don't let past experiences dictate how you live your life moving forward. This next card is the new moon. It says a new start is coming. March is having you feeling more empowered, more hopeful. It carries the message that you can forget and recover from the past experiences, and that having to start over, although it may feel frightening at first, it can be a blessing in disguise. Things may have fallen apart, all in order for you to put them back together in a way that better serves you. March is showing you, everything that you are capable of with this freedom, with this independence. All right, my last oracle card, group 4, it says, turn on your heart light, reflect on a time when you experienced love. I'm just gonna slap that in the middle there. This card is all about seeing the glass as half full, remembering the positives, remembering the good times, but also believing that you'll make new, happier memories moving forward. Again, we're not dwelling on the past in March. We're not going to let whatever has happened to cause this Five of Cups, we're not going to allow this to rule our lives going forward. March is embracing the bad bitch energy, being successful, being independent, being self-sufficient, pursuing our passions, getting out there and communicating again, meeting new people. And so you have a lot of possibilities coming for you in March. It is just up to you to seize those and shape those into the life, into the direction that you want. So I don't know if I put my disclaimer or not, but please keep in mind that this is a giant general reading. So not all aspects may resonate with you 100%, and that is a-okay, totally normal. Go ahead, take what resonates and leave the rest for somebody else. If hardly anything resonated, go ahead, feel free to pick a different pile, see what messages come through for you there. But I appreciate you hanging out with me on my channel. It is a pleasure as always to read for you, and I wish the best for you moving forward. I'll catch you next time. Gonna be some bad bitches in March. Gonna be the Rihanna type of Pisces, the Janae Aiko type of Pisces. We're not gonna be the spineless fishies. We're gonna be the frickin' piranhas that everyone's scared of. I don't know, I'm just trying to hype myself up. Let me make sure my cards aren't friggin' crooked again. Well, they are crooked. You're just a crooked gal. All right, let's try to straighten these up a bit.